Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the High Ticket Coaching and Consultant Strategy and Growth Show. Now, if you're watching this interview anywhere else but within our private Facebook community called High Ticket Client Attraction Insider Circle, then definitely come check us out. We'd definitely love to have you. That group was put together specifically for our coaches, consultants, and service providers who are serious about getting up to that 6 and that 7-figure level within their business. So if that's you, definitely come check us out. Now, today I want to introduce you to one of the members of our community, Diana. Welcome, Diana.
Hi, thank you so much.
Awesome. So tell us, what is it that you do?
Well, I do a few things. I am an entrepreneur. How about I start where at the beginning? I'm a former broadcaster, a news reporter and anchor, turned politician, city government, turned entrepreneur, healthcare when the economy tanked, and now pre-COVID, a digital nomad. Because I can work remotely. I've been working all over the world. So I've kind of changed my life quite a bit. And I really like to tell people about it, how they might be able to, if they're interested.
Okay, so you said you became a digital nomad?
I did.
So what is it? Tell us, what is a digital nomad?
It's been quite trendy in the younger generation. I just turned 50. So I really wasn't aware of it, that it was a thing. As long as you have your computer and Wi-Fi, you can work from anywhere. And I'm like, well, that's me. That's what I do at home in the mountains in Canada. So why can't I do it in Italy? So even though I wasn't an experienced traveler and it was totally freaky, I rented my house and I packed a suitcase and I lived out of a suitcase for a year in different cities around the world. And once I did it, I'm like, what was I scared of, right? We don't do things because of time, money, excuses, or we're just like, well, I can't do that. That seems ludicrous. And then you do it and you're like, oh my God, this is the best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I feel about it. And if you're free, I realize not everyone is. They might work in an office, or you might have a family, or not everybody can work that way. But since COVID, I think a lot of companies are realizing your workforce does not have to be in your office. So even for extended family vacations, right? You can still work away from home and take your family, and they can play while you work, and you can also play after you work. So yeah, it's a nice new normal, I think, that we're going to come to.
Yeah, awesome. So when you did your traveling, were you running your business? Were you still generating money online as well too, or did you have savings that you kind of relied on? How did it work for you?
I had a little bit of savings. The first year I went with a group, so it was a little more expensive. But they took care of everything, which is great. Learn when to delegate. I hate the minutia of figuring out where to stay and what office space to rent and where to go. So they took care of that. But yeah, I do medical transcription for one of my businesses. So my clients don't really care where I do my work as long as I get it done in a timely fashion. So that was great.
Yeah.
I have a good story too. Well, I don't know if it's that good. A little story about how I was really worried my boss wasn't going to let me. Not my boss, I'm the boss. My client wasn't going to let me because, of course, I don't want to go if he says no. So my main client, I asked for a chat. Need to talk to you, which always scares everybody. I'm sure he thought I was going to quit, which was like in my favor. Because the first thing I said to him is, don't worry, I'm not going to quit. But I have this amazing opportunity to travel the world for a year. And I've talked to our computer specialist and he can set it up. And I thought of all the reasons, that I would make it work. And he's like, yeah, great. As long as you get your work done, I don't really care. So I was off to the races.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing about working online, right? At the end of the day, really individuals, they just want results. And I believe working online is one of those places where as long as you could deliver, you'll do pretty good, right?
Yeah, you have to have the kind of personality where, you're self-disciplined and I'm very project and goal oriented. So if you just give me something to do and let me run with it, then I get it done. Some people need maybe more guidance, but even that is not really an issue because now with Zoom and, all these, you're connected to your office all the time between your phone and your laptop. So it's easy to have meetings and there are all kinds of apps like Slack. So it's kind of exciting.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I always like to joke around, like, in a day, I probably visit like 5 different continents, like all over the world, simply because I have friends from like different areas in New Zealand, Malaysia, Hong Kong. They're all over, so I'm always on the Zoom app, just chatting back and forth with them. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. And if you want to go visit them, I mean, we're doing this right now. I'm in Canada. You're
mhm.
not there, right? So what's the difference if you are in Hong Kong visiting your friend?
Exactly, exactly. Love it, love it. So you're also writing a book, right?
I am. I'm writing a book about this whole experience. A lot of people are interested in the like travel part of being a digital nomad and how to do it. But I
Yeah.
found over the years what I really want to inspire or motivate people is to do what they fear because it's the best. And my example was me, right? When I decided I was going to have my year of yes and take advantage of every opportunity, and this travel opportunity came up, I swore for a whole weekend. I was like, oh my God, what did I just do? What the F did I just do? Holy, right? But
Hmm.
I put my money on the line. And as soon as I went, I'm like, why? Why was I so insecure? I was
Hmm.
insecure because I'm a little older, right? And I'm inexperienced as a traveler, and because I'm not in like super great shape. Like this program I was going with, you know, they're more millennials and they're like playing in the surf and climbing mountains. And I'm like, I don't know if that's, I mean, that is me, but I didn't know. Um, yeah, I was just insecure about it, but I did it anyway. So that's my point. I've had the best life ever since then. And I just want to make sure, whatever it is you want to do, right? If you want to go eat a meal alone, but you're worried you look like a loser, go eat your meal alone. Like, why are you letting people who probably aren't even looking at you or care stop you from doing what you want to do? Or you want to take a ballet class, right? But you think I'm too old. Or you want to go to the gym, but you think I'm too fat. Or if you're a guy, you think I'm too skinny, I'll look ridiculous. Well, no, you got to look after yourself and you got to do what you fear in order to improve your life.
Yeah, yeah, that's so brilliant. Because with life, it's one of those places where, again, most people they talk themselves out of things because of what other people might think about them. But then when you really realize, when you do get older, whether it's 60, 70, 80 years old in that rocking chair, and you look back on your life, I believe that the things we regret the most is they always say the things we did not do right. And if there's something you want to do, it always makes sense to just say, "Hey, just go after it now." Because again, it's like I believe life is the best. The best way to live life is to be able to share the experiences that you've had. Whether it was, "Hey, I tried this thing and I failed horribly," or "Hey, I tried this thing and it was the best thing ever." But being able to come from a place of not "I should have," I could have, more from a "I tried it and this is what happened." Right?
Yeah, and even bad experiences generally are turn out to be good experiences, right? You learn from everything. So you ate at this restaurant, you hated it, but you know what? Now you know that.
You got a
But
story.
or you know, lots of times I didn't necessarily, you know, I climbed some mountains. Did I do it as fast as everybody else, or did I, you know, sit out a certain portion because I'm a little bit fearful of going down steep slopes? Yeah, but you know what? I was there. I showed up. And
Hmm.
every time, you know, you get better and you learn something and you gain more confidence, right? If you sit at home and you don't do what you're scared of, you don't gain that confidence. The only way is to fail, but you're not really failing,
Hmm.
right? Learning and you're growing and you're pushing your boundaries.
Yeah, awesome. So, what exciting? I know you say you have your book. What other exciting projects do you have coming up?
Well, hopefully there's, as you can hear, I hope, I'm really passionate about this. And I just really want to inspire people to live their best life and find their joy through whatever that means for them. So I'm writing this book. I love speaking, as you may be able to tell. So I'd love to just tour and talk about it and talk with people about it. So I'm going to be on LinkedIn more regularly and a Facebook group similar to yours. Just where, you know, I do little vlogs every day about my thoughts, my pearls of wisdom.
Mhm.
And I want to engage with people. I want to hear what, you know, piques their interest and, you know, how can I help them?
Mhm.
And yeah, maybe a course will come out of it because I'm not sure exactly what people need, but I do know at a human level, people are craving connection,
Mhm.
especially right now with COVID. I think we're all seeing that. People more than ever are realizing it's something that we've been taking for granted. whether it's like the physical connection, but also the mental connection,
Mm-hmm.
right? People are going onto Zoom. We're talking more. We're talking to friends we haven't talked to for like 15 years, and we live in the same city, 6 kilometers away.
Mm-hmm.
But because of COVID, we're like, hey, I'm going to call up Joe. We're going to have a chat. How's he dealing with this and homeschooling and his family and his kids, and his job? Does he have a job? So people are becoming a lot more authentic, and I love that. And we're talking less, I think, which is important always, but especially in business, like authentically and by being vulnerable, right? That's how you connect, and that's how you remember people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, from a business perspective, because I'm on a business program with you, for example, networking events. Do you like them? I fucking hate them.
You do? Like, you mean the in-person type of networking events?
I have to be in the right mood, because actually I'm an introvert, right? And so too many people, I like it for a little while, but then it gets old real fast. And I find at a lot of networking events, or even like beginning dating, hi, who are you? What do you do? What company do you work for? Blah, blah, right? Do you remember those people? No, you don't. You probably meet like 300 people at, these large corporate events. And maybe you remember one or two. And think about, why do you remember that person?
Mm-hmm.
You remember them because they made you feel good, or they made you laugh, or they cared about what you do or why you do it, right? And you made like a genuine connection. And maybe you'll keep in contact with that person, and maybe you won't, but you'll remember each other, right? Which is what you need to do when it comes to business. And you
Mm-hmm.
never know who's going to know somebody, right?
Yeah.
So make those connections. Like through you, I might meet somebody who makes a comment at the bottom of your page. And because of what we're experiencing right here, or they like what we're talking about, I'll have another contact. And then maybe we can connect in a way that I had no idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is so true. I know a lot of individuals, as far as opportunities, even for myself as well, too. They've come from, I might be networking with someone, but then it's not that person specifically, but it's someone in the network who heard the conversation, or someone next to you know we're getting together and doing something. So it's so powerful. I always like to say that there's some individuals, and it seems like you're someone who's kind of figured that out, which is like literally you could be the only person here, but you could network, like you could find your way to success, which is through being able to get a conversation, a connection going, and be able to have that connection lead to another, to lead to another, lead to another, and you could really get some awesome, achieve some amazing things, right?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, at some of these, business functions, you might be sitting at the back with your coffee or a cocktail going, please don't come and talk to me. Please don't come and talk to me. And then somebody does, and you're like, oh God. But you never know what's going to happen. And even if you're introverted, and this comes back to like overcoming your fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to believe in yourself, and that, you have something to say, something to offer. And instead of asking, like, what do you do? Maybe ask someone why they do it. Someone that is a financial planner may or may not be exciting to you,
Mm-hmm.
but why they do it may be important, right? And
Right.
contact that. Or I really love helping people find a way, to get their kids into a good university, or save for this, or go on that vacation, or add on to their house so their mom can come and live with them in her old age. Like that hits home, and you remember that, as opposed to, oh yeah, I met Jason, he's a financial planner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always so good when you could go personal, and that's why, because of what we do in our business as well too, we help coaches, consultants, and service providers really get up to that 7 figure level. And one of the core issues I realize with just the industry is that there's no type of connection, right? When you join a program, all these different things, it's just strictly about business, this, business, that, all of those type of professional things, versus what I like to do is create environments where people could come and you get to know them, you get to know about their family, you get to know about the kids, you get to know what they enjoy, you get to know all these different things. So at the end, you feel like there's an actual person there, right? Because as the saying always goes, is people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And if you
Yeah.
could, yeah, create environments, situations where you're not just speaking on a surface level, but people really get to know you as an individual, as a person, and you get to know them. That's why I believe there's so much leverage, right?
Totally. You're absolutely 100% right. People do business with people they trust and like and make them feel valued. And there are a lot of people who do what you do, a lot of people who probably do what I do, but you're going to do business with us because we have some kind of rapport. And maybe somebody is better than me. Maybe someone's better than you, but they're with us because of how we make them feel and how we try and serve, like in a real way, an authentic way, not just interviewing and faking it. You have to be genuine about it too.
Yeah. What about you? Do you have any influences? Who do you say has been a big influence on your life, on your journey?
Well, I'm really into self-development. I read and I absorb all kinds of stuff. So Gary V would be one. A few ladies on LinkedIn that I really like what they have to say. Vision and the whole Mind Valley stuff. Marissa Peer, Gary Zukav, Marty Seligman. I went to school for psychology, so I did a lot of sort of achievement and motivation. And that kind of stuff. The science of it, I really like, right? The science of how we think and how that relates to, how we put ourselves out there and how we can change our lives by what we think.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
I want to say one thing. I'm really grateful. In many ways, my childhood was a bit difficult, but in one respect, I'm thankful in all ways, but particularly in one respect. I mentioned I was super shy when I was young and timid, not just about people, but about like doing things. And my mother was so patient. I went to, we called it here, or we used to call it pre-beginner swim class, like the very first one where all you really need to learn to do is put your head underwater. I failed that 9 times. My mother kept taking me back, right? I kept failing and failing because I wouldn't put my head underwater. And then one day I was either just ready or I had the right teacher, right? The right rapport, and I did it. And then I was like, hey, what am I scared of? And then I got all my swim badges in a year. And I did the same thing with skating. I did the same thing with driving. My parents had to force me to get my driver's license. Like what teenager does that, right? But I was scared to drive. But now it's one of my favorite things, and I drive like cross country all the time. So from that, I learned really that pushing yourself is a good thing, and there is nothing to be scared of. Even if you are scared, just do it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. They always say, I think a definition of fear is false evidence appearing real, right?
Definitely. And I still have them, and I still have to force myself, but at least I know that I'll be okay. And what's the worst that can happen, right? You look silly? Okay, whatever. But amazing things can happen too.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So what about breakthroughs? A question I like to ask is every so often we go through our days and we get these big insights. Have you had any big insights recently that you'd like to share?
Big insights. No, my main thing, my main one, I guess just dealing with this whole COVID thing. For me, that I don't know how you've been dealing with it. It shouldn't be that different because we both work remotely from home, wherever home is. But I'm curious, have you noticed a difference? Because this actually has affected me a little bit. I don't know if it's the lack of travel or the lack of freedom or just adjusting. It shouldn't be a big adjustment, but it kind of is. How are you feeling with that?
Well, to be honest with COVID-19, because for me, I'm a bit of an introvert. So I've been doing this since like 2013, and before COVID-19 hit, I was like barely going out anyways, right? So I'm always like home and stuff like that. And then when COVID-19 hit, it was like, oh my God, we're trying at home. I'm like, huh? What's going on? But it hasn't really affected me that much. Again, just because of how my life is designed. I work from home. I'm not too much into the outgoing partying scene and stuff like that. I'm typically like, if I do something, it's typically with a really small group. So for myself, it really hasn't affected me that much, I guess you could say.
What I'm noticing is going to be different and a little weird for me because I don't know, later in life, I'm embracing joy more and I'm embracing people more. You can't do that anymore. I'm a hugger. right?
Weekend
So
one?
I love to go, I love to meet people and shake their hand and touch their arm and, you know, do the like mwah, mwah, kissy thing and hug people.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do that anymore, or at least you can't right now. And I kind of think in the future that I don't know that that's ever going to come back. And I'm going to miss,
What? No, it's gonna come back. You don't think it's gonna come back?
I hope so.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it will.
If we
Yeah.
all get used to the fist bump, maybe it won't.
Yes, yes. We're just like all just quarantined. Like, hey, from now on, it just like, can you imagine a future to where we can't leave the house anymore?
I can't. Plus, I'll get really fat, and that's no good.
Yeah, we just have these Zoom meetings. Like, hey, what's going on? Let me go see Fred. What's going on, Fred? And we just like showing up to just Zoom meetings. But no, I think it'll come back. I think it's one of those places. I think with everything of life, it's one of those places. I think human interaction. I think it's the end of civilization if we do get to a point where, like, literally for the rest of eternity, we can't um, be around each other. Like in a type of let me hold you, let me touch you, and stuff like that. I don't think. Well, we could, but
I
nah,
hope
I
not.
don't know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope not. I did want to mention I had the best networking session on Zoom that I've ever had to date, actually yesterday.
Hmm.
I don't know if you're familiar with Meetup. It's an app that people
Right.
use all over the world, and there's stuff going on in your city. So I belong to this entrepreneur one, and there was some networking yesterday, and I was a little not skeptical about it, but I was kind of expecting, right? Everybody goes around and says, what do you do for your business? What kind of clients are you looking for? What do you have to offer? But it was super, super good because on purpose, the organizer did what we were just talking about. Instead of talking about our business first, we didn't talk about it to the very end. And so everything we talked about, he had a list of questions. Like what's on your bucket list? What kind of useless information do you have in your head? Um, what do you really enjoy doing? What are you passionate about? Who is a famous person you met? You know, various questions. And it was super interesting because you couldn't talk about what you did at all
Hmm.
until like at least an hour had passed. And you really got a feel for people's families and their situation and their passions and their hobbies and interesting things about them that you wouldn't have known. And then we talked business at the end. And I thought that was a brilliant way to network because, again, right, you make that rapport with people. And then that's how you kind of decide to do business. So
Yeah.
I thought that
Yeah.
was a really brilliant thing to do.
Yeah, love it, love it. It's so powerful as well too, because it's just about if someone doesn't like you, it's like what's the point, right? But once you're able to get that initial relationship to where you guys come from like a more of a friendship type of perspective, then it changes everything. So in essence, so if someone wanted to connect with you, what's the best way for them to be able to reach out?
LinkedIn is a good one. Be great if you want to follow me or befriend me. Facebook, I'm also on. So my name is Diana J. Scott, and I use the J. So that's good for Facebook. It's good for LinkedIn. I'm also on Instagram, and I do little Instagram videos as well. So you can message me any of those fashions would be great. And actually, if people, when they watch this on whatever media you have it on, if they put like a comment like love it or yes please or something, I will direct message them and give them an email link for a special little video I made specifically with regard to connections and business. It's just like
Mhm.
3 minutes.
Yeah, love it, love it. Awesome, Deanna. Well, hey, thank you so much for stopping by and making the time to be here with us today. Really appreciate it. Do you have any final thoughts before we end?
Oh, it was so much fun. Can we do this
Awesome.
again?
Oh, sure, sure. Why not? Why not, right? Love it, love it. Awesome. Well, hey, you enjoy and we will talk soon, okay?
Thank you so much.